there are sharp objects in this video. Okay guys, a few weeks back I did a drawer video and a lot of you noticed I had a DIY knife organizer in the drawer, and we've been using it for a few weeks now and we love it. It is the best thing ever. It saves so much counter space. We always know where our knives are. The knives stay sharp longer. So I wanted to go back to that knife organizer since we love it so much and share the plans with you. So I want to make something that's more universal so that you can build it and fit it in just about any size drawer and help you get your kitchen more organized. So the first step is I'm going to cut a bunch of 2x2 spacers for in between the knives, and I kind of measured how long my knife blades are, and then it was about 8 inches. So I'm just going to make a bunch of 8-inch cuts. So I just drew a pencil mark on my saw because my stop block doesn't go down to 8 inches. So this will help me production cut really accurately and a lot quicker than measuring, marking, cutting, measuring, marking, cutting, and so forth. So I'm going to do 6 of these 2x2s. I have 5 knives in my set and that's pretty standard, but you could do more or less depending on your drawer size and your knife situation. So now I measured my knives and they're about 1/8 of an inch thick, the blade is. So I found this piece of 1/8 inch flat bar, and you could use just about anything, and kind of used it as a spacer in between my 2x2s. Because I don't want to be, putting a knife in there as a spacer as I'm working. I don't really want to get cut. So the first thing I'm doing here is kind of figuring out how wide I want to cut my plywood. So this would be the width. And I went with 9 5/8 for the 6 2x2s. Now the length of your plywood just needs to be at least as long as your drawer depth, but I'm going to worry about that later on. So I just cut right on top of my work surface with a piece of styrofoam underneath it. It just makes cutting so easy and you can really concentrate on making a good cut. Now it's time to start assembly. So I'm going to put it together with glue and brad nails. I've got 1¼ inch brad nails in my nailer, and just start and glue one side and nail it down. Make sure you keep your fingers at least the length of the nail away from the nailer in case your nail strays. You don't want to get a nail in your finger. And then I'm just going to use that piece of 1/8 inch flat bar as a spacer. So you could use anything here. It doesn't have to be flat metal bar, and you could even use your knife if you wanted to, but please be careful. And then just nails from the back. So again, be careful to keep your fingers away, and then after you get 2 nails in, I'll flip it over and use gravity to my advantage and finish nailing it off. And then I just worked my way up. But now here's the problem with the last 2 is I want to kind of split the difference between the gaps in case I'm a little bit off, if that makes sense. So I did the last one first, and that one's easy to kind of line up with the outside edges of my plywood. And now I'm going to set the last one in there and evenly space the gaps in between, so you can see those last 2 gaps ended up being a tiny bit bigger. Most people wouldn't care, but at least there's, at least we've split up any differences in those last 2 gaps. It looks actually pretty good. So the knives need to point downward so that they're not, flipping up, and you want that blade fully in between those 2x2s. So I'm going to take a 1x2 scrap and just cut it to match the width of my 1/4 inch plywood. So I think my number was 9 5/8 here. And I just used a 1x3 as kind of a spacer there. You could probably get away with like something smaller or something bigger, but that's just worked. And I changed out my nails for 3/4 inch nails because the 1x material isn't as thick as the 2x material. So that actually worked out really good. And you can see the knives are sitting in there nice. They go in really easy. They point downward. They're going to stay in place as the drawer opens and closes. Now there's some extra space behind the knife handles, And that could be used for like scissors or a knife sharpener. So I just put a quick divider in there. And then I'm back to using the 1¼ nails and just nailed that down. So if you don't have clamps, another little trick is you can apply the glue and then just hold it until the glue, you know, dries a little bit, and then flip it over and it'll kind of work as a clamp for you and help you out. Okay, the knife block is done, and the second time I actually feel like this one is better than the one that I made previously. Second time's a charm, I guess. I really love how you can cut it exactly to fit in your drawer without a lot of modifications. So when you open and close your drawer, your knives aren't just rolling around in your drawer. They're in there pretty secure and they're not going to go anywhere. And then we take advantage of this space. I have a knife sharpener here, but I thought a pair of scissors would be perfect there. You could, you know, just throw one more 1x2 piece in there and block this off and make it a full compartment. Super excited to put these plans out. The link is in the description. This is a super quick project. You can literally knock this one out in probably under an hour, start to finish, gathering your materials to install it in your drawer. I used all scrap wood, but if you were to go buy new materials, you're probably talking less than $10 to make this. I'm always doing little projects like this to tweak my kitchen so it functions exactly as I need it to. It makes it easier to clean, easier to find things, easier to put things away. It just simplifies the cooking process. So I put together a blog post of some of my favorite little kitchen projects. There's a whole bunch in this kitchen that you actually can't see. So make sure you click over to that link in the description below and check them out and build a few and make your life better. Thanks so much for watching this week, and make sure you take a second to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you if you have, and we shall see you back next Monday.